Hi, my name is Ted Lowe, and I've been married to Nancy Lowe since 1995, and we have 4 kids. My job has been helping marriages. I'm sitting down with people that are leading marriage experts, and I'm going to ask them, if you could only tell married couples one thing, what would it be? Oh, this is making so much sense.
Yeah. So there we go.
Welcome to One Things for Married People. Kathleen!
Hey, Ted!
It's your truck!
You like it?
Yes, it's all tricked out.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
my
not what I
baby.
expected. I feel like I know you, and I'm going, what is happening?
I love my truck.
Well, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
I thought we'd have a little fun. I'm red,
Okay.
yellow, so I
Okay.
demand that we have fun.
Okay.
Is that how that works?
Yes, that is exactly.
You want to grab some ice cream?
I would love to.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Today, I'm talking with Kathleen Edelman. Kathleen will tell you she has one goal in life: to help people learn to speak kindly to each other. She's the author of the book, I Said This, You Heard That, How Your Wiring Colors Your Communication. Kathleen's amazing. She's got all the degrees, but she's married with 2 grown children and has a surprising passion for martial arts and pickup trucks. I cannot wait for you to hear from her. Kathleen, I'm so excited. Thanks for making the time.
Absolutely. How great is this, right?
This is
Chill Hill.
fantastic. This is the perfect place to meet, right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about just this amazing research you've done, great experience. This stuff has mattered, and I don't want to call it stuff, but this has mattered so much to my marriage, and I'm watching as we work with married couples. It matters to so many people, and it has mattered. It's been so powerful. But before we do, can you just give us, when it comes to communication and it comes to marriage, what are some of the tensions there? Why is it such a difficult thing for so many couples?
Well, I think it's because, we have a tendency to be selfish, right? When we're in our own wiring and we're really not thinking about the other person, then it's really not a servant's heart. It's a selfish heart. And what happens is that you speak out of your innate temperament all the time, right? So you talk out of your temperament. And when people come in my office, they're not necessarily trying to miscommunicate. It's not usually intentional.
Right.
They're just speaking out of their temperament. But the problem is it's not being understood because it's taken in from a different temperament, right?
Talk about temperaments for a minute. Like when you say that, tell me the difference between someone's temperament and personality.
Well, temperament is innate. Okay, so it is unchangeable. You're born with it. And the thing that's really cool about temperaments is it's been around since before Jesus walked the earth. We're talking, Ted, hundreds of years before Jesus walked the earth. So you have your eye color, you have your voice print, your fingerprint, your hair color. Those are innate. They cannot be changed. And either can your core motivator of temperaments. Personality, on the other hand, is constantly evolving. So it's birth order, it's culture, it's religion, it's where you live, how many siblings you have, what your parents do for a living. So it's constantly evolving. And so we want to understand what core motivation is, because that's how we speak. And we want to know that it's separate from personality, which can literally be a snapshot in a day, right? And it can change tomorrow.
So we all have multiple personality disorder, is what you're saying. It's all changed
Exactly,
everything.
it's constantly going and going, and who am I today, right?
Well, you are like the temperament queen.
Yeah.
Like, so talk a little bit, when you say temperaments, there's 4 different categories,
Right.
4 different colors.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your research and your work with the temperaments.
Okay, well, I did, when I was, I lived in California, and then I was driving to Maryland, and I was listening to these tapes, and these tapes were on temperaments, and I'm listening to these tapes on temperaments going, oh my gosh, this is going to change everything in my work. Because now I'm realizing that we speak out of these temperaments all the time. I need to know everything I can possibly know about them. So there's 4, and the original Greek names are sanguine, choleric, melancholy, and phlegmatic. In my work, I've matched them up to colors because I want it to be easier. Those are kind of mouthful. Those words,
For
right?
sure.
Can you imagine your kids saying it, and then you're like,
yeah.
melancholic, what is that, right? And what my goal is that you understand which one you are and what kind of language you speak, so that then you can learn to speak kindly to another person.
I love it.
That's really what I want people to do, is just speak kindly.
Well, and that was so amazing. And you share a verse a lot. This feels like it's your life verse, because you said your number one thing in the world is to help people to speak kindly to each other.
Yes,
which is no small thing.
No, not in this world, is it?
No, it's huge, and it sounds oversimplistic, but it's really not, right?
Well, it's one of those kind of things where people say, find what breaks your heart. Well, I can remember being very little and watching people talk and speaking unkindly to each other, and it literally, even when I was young, broke my heart. I would be like, why do they have to talk like that to another person, right? So Ephesians is my favorite book in the Bible. I think everybody kind of has their favorite. Within that book is Ephesians 4:29, and that verse says, do not let any unwholesome words come out of your mouth, only what builds others up according to their needs and benefit all who listen.
Wow.
Powerful, right?
That is
Even if you're not a believer, it's a great outline for just communication, right? To just stop and think about what you're saying. And then Paul challenges us to think about our words. And he's saying, listen, he's giving us a clue. Hey, this matters. People are different. They have different needs. Like, pause and think about how powerful your words are, right?
So can you unpack the temperaments, the 4 colors, just a little bit, and kind of explain a little bit what that looks like and how that may impact marriage?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like I said, you're born with an innate temperament. So the yellow, the sanguine, this is a person that is inspiring. They're encouragers. They're creative. The best thing about a sanguine or a yellow is that their ability to see the best in people first. Like, they just innately do that, right? But in order to know all those good things, they also have a whole list of weaknesses. So they can exaggerate, they can elaborate, they can be distracted, right? So we want to know, we're kind of thinking, oh gosh, that kind of sounds like my wife or my husband, right? And that's an extrovert that's people-oriented. Then you have an extrovert that's task-oriented. That's the red choleric. This is a person that is decisive, they're great at delegating, they excel in emergencies, they're dynamic leaders, they speak the language of power and control. What is unique about them is they're visionaries. They can see a goal as clear can be. But guess what? They're bossy, they're intolerant, they're impatient, right? So again, that we have a balance of strengths and weaknesses that we have to be aware of when we're talking about our temperament. And then I'm a blue. I'm a melancholy. That's my dominant. So blues are, they're logical, they're analytical, but they're also creative and musical. You know, they really use both sides of their brain well, if you want to say it another way.
Right.
And what's really unique to the blues and only we own is our ability to see the obstacles from A to B. Where the red can see B as a goal, I can see every obstacle from A to B.
Along the way.
Along the way. And a lot of times we hear, oh, why are you pointing out the negatives? When really, we're seeing the obstacles, right?
Gotcha.
So, but we can also be judgmental, critical, moody, right? So again, balancing those strengths and weaknesses. And then the last temperament, the green, the phlegmatic, this is a person that is so kind. They're great listeners. They're very easygoing. They speak the language of calm and harmony. And what's unique to them is this is the person, Ted, that can be the calm in the midst of chaos. When all the things are exploding, this person is like, hey, it'll be all right. We'll be fine. But they can also be unenthusiastic, have no sense of urgency, right? I've been married to a green for 32 years, so I kind of know that urgency kind of thing. But he's innately kind, man. And that's what really is so wonderful to see, is focusing on the strengths of your spouse.
I love that. And you talk about that each one of the colors has an innate needs, that they're craving something. So let's talk to all the people that are married to a yellow. What are the needs of a yellow?
Okay. Their innate needs are attention, affection, acceptance, and approval. Now, the innate needs are in each temperament, and they've been in each temperament since you were born. So even when you're a child, you're trying to fill these whether you know it or not. So we might as well know it. And then we want to define them, and then we want to know how to fill them, right? The red is an extrovert that's task-oriented. Their innate needs are loyalty, sense of control, appreciation, and credit for work. So again, every red's going to be like, oh yeah, loyalty. That's huge to me, right? For the blues, it's safety, sensitivity, support, and space and silence. For the green, it's harmony, lack of stress, feeling of worth, and respect. So these are game changers.
So these innate needs are so important, but can you unpack why? Talk a little bit about that.
The first reason it's so critically important is because we first have to ask who talks to us the most. Even when we're talking about a marriage, right?